Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 44 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus to clarify for me, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So today we're looking at lesson 41. God goes with me wherever I go. It's easy to look at the world right now and see fear, hatred, and cruelty, but that's always been true. It can be depressing, but that is a consequence of separation. All the descriptors Jesus uses in this lesson have been felt by me: loneliness, abandonment, anxiety, worry, helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. Even now, as my mind heals, those feelings still arise. I let them be there, but I no longer encourage them or believe they rest on truth. What I'm learning not to do now is to try to fix them myself. For example, when I feel lonely, I don't call someone or try to distract myself from the feeling. If I become anxious, I don't take a pill or use any of the old ways of calming myself. It's the same for the rest of the feelings that are the inevitable outcome of thinking that we are separate from God. I'm learning to bring them to the truth instead of trying to manage them myself. As Jesus tells us in this lesson, all the ways we have tried to cure the ills of the world won't work because the problem isn't real. Of course it isn't. How could we be separate from our Creator? God goes with us everywhere we go because He is our source and the source of our very life. We are thought in the mind of God. If we could somehow separate ourselves from our source, from His mind, we would no longer be thought. We would not exist. Since this is not possible, we're perfectly safe from all suffering. Our desire to experience separation produced a state that does not exist. We're only dreaming of separation. And so we must awaken from the dream. This is what we're doing right now as we share these lessons and practice them as our brother is telling us to do. It's our dream, and so we must choose when to awaken from it. It is proof of His love for us that we do this slowly so as not to frighten us any further. Today, we're assured that deep within us is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through us and into our world. This love will cure all sorrow and pain as it heals the mind that believes in them. My ACIM study group yesterday was talking about pain. Pretty much everyone has suffered from one form or another from pain, and yet we will discover in lesson 190 that pain is not real. In fact, he says that if pain is real, God is not. Some of us have experienced relief in pain in what appears to be miraculous ways. I myself shared a story of my migraines. I used to have them frequently. Needless to say, they were painful and generally lasted several days. One time, I was scheduled to give a 3-day workshop and had flown in for it. Many others came from different places to attend. I got there and a migraine hit me. There was no way to cancel at this point, and so I decided I had to carry on. I asked the Holy Spirit for help and started the class. As I began to talk, the pain began to subside, and as I became engaged in what we were doing, I was amazed to discover that the pain disappeared altogether. When it was time for a break, it roared back to life. I went to my room and lay down until the break was over. When I began to talk again, the pain once again disappeared. It continued like this for the whole workshop. I didn't think anyone had any idea that this was happening. What I learned from this is that, like the world of time itself, pain really isn't real. It requires our full attention to exist. It makes me smile when I think of it. Like we're thought in the mind of God, my pain was thought in my mind. When I quit thinking about it, it quit existing for me until I had time to think of it again. This was an important step in learning that the mind is powerful. I can cause pain and suffering. It can cause pain and suffering, and it can eliminate it, not through willpower, but by choosing correctly. I'm learning that instead of giving my allegiance to the belief in suffering, I can radiate my holiness to the world. The first step is to recognize that I can never be deprived of my holiness because its source goes with me wherever I go. This means that all things of God go with me, like peace and joy. Nothing can destroy my peace because God goes with me wherever I go. Love, peace, and joy are always available to me. I've buried them under the effects of my belief in separation, but they're still there. Just because I've made myself unaware of the truth does not mean there is no truth. I can once again become aware of my holiness as I meant to, and that is the purpose of today's lesson. It is a reason we're instructed to spend some time this morning sinking below the world we made with our idle thoughts and going inward to leave appearances and approach reality. Jesus tells us this. It is quite possible to reach God. In fact, it's very easy because it is the most natural thing in the world. You might even say it's the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. In the past, when I've tried this, I was heavily defended against success. Of course, I didn't think of it that way. I just acknowledged that my mind is undisciplined and tried not to think of of all those other things that was exhausting. This time I was willing, and yes, my mind is still pretty undisciplined, but I stuck with it. I didn't have the usual fear of failure. I simply showed up. I asked the Holy Spirit to go with me. I was about to stop when I felt something moving through me. I can't think of how to explain this without using words that will have different meanings to people. I just knew I was being answered. It didn't last long, and I'm not sure of the lasting effect. But I feel happy and peaceful now, and I'm encouraged and grateful. I'm going to happily practice the lesson today, reminding myself frequently that God goes with me where I go and what that means to me. I will do as Jesus instructs. Concentrate on the holiness that they imply about you, on the unfailing companionship that is yours, on the complete protection that surrounds you. And this lesson ends with one of my favorite lines in the course, which I like to use in first person. I can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, remembering that God goes with me wherever I go. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.